Premiership will step into that man's shoes. It's been an up-and-down season for Regan, but he appears to be hitting his straps at the right time.
I've been looking forward to refine that form that I had earlier when I first come down here. I brought myself undone there when I got down to Phillip Street, and ever since then I've been struggling to find form, but now I've found form. Well, all I want to do is just get out there and play football, so hopefully I'll get my chance on Sunday.
Sunday will also be a big day for Sea Eagle and former Canberran Michael O'Connor. The dashing centre will oppose Mal Meninga.
I thought Mal played very strongly, considering he's been out of the game for so long. I thought he had a very solid game.
Football fever has really struck the territory. It's banks, it's cars, and meet the biggest supporter of the team. And a man who probably won't bear to watch the first few minutes of Sunday's grand final is Jim Woodyer. He's the money behind the Canberra push. He's seen the dream of Coach Ferner come to reality.
What a great thing it is for the city. And I was reflecting on some of the hidings we used to get, to be honest with you.
They're still fresh in the mind?
Oh, very. They only stopped a couple of years ago, and which makes the achievement all that more remarkable.
In a coach's poll today, more than 9 lobbed for Manly. But that doesn't deter Canberra. Matter of fact, it even makes them keener to pull off Rugby League's biggest upset.
The team media attention since demolishing South Sydney in their semi-final clash 10 days ago, but so far have taken it all in their stride.
After blitzing Souths and overpowering Easts to make their first ever grand final, the Canberra Raiders have suddenly become sporting celebrities. While Manly's string of internationals are under wraps, previously unknown Canberra players are hitting the headlines. And at training, the players are outnumbered by sports writers and camera crews, which all makes it hard to stay level-headed.
More so the people around you fussing around that get to you.
Like us, eh?
Yeah, like you blokes. Mum and dad, girlfriends. Yeah, all your mates ringing you up.
Is that hard to deal with? Or?
No, you just try and switch off. I think goes in one ear and out the other.
21-year-old Matthew Corkery typifies the Raiders' low-key approach.
If you go out there thinking it's a grand final, I think the nerves do take over and you don't play to your potential.
As for the coaches, well, Don Ferner says he's been around too long to get nervous, and Wayne Bennett never seems to show any nerves. The coaches have worked hard to instill self-confidence in the team all season, and for anyone who was listening, they've said all along that the Raiders can beat any team on their day. That applies to the grand final as well.
Well, if I had any doubts, I certainly am a badge in right now. We got this far and we've beaten all the teams we've had to beat to get there, so I don't see Manly as being unbeatable.
We're not overestimating them. We're just going out there to do our best.
I think the word...
Spots 87. And now here's the Raiders.
And now even more Raiders.
And just for a change, here's some more Raiders. And now here's Milton O'Brien and Greg Robson.
Excellent for Canberra. O'Sullivan, Bacco, John Ferguson and Gary Coyne put in big ones in an easy 19-2 win over Cronulla. Then it was a cakewalk at Wollongong. Despite losing Brent Todd, it was the back line led by Mal Meninga who starred.
Canberra, some great opportunities. Mal Meninga going on his own. Big Mal, can he get there on his own? Pops the pass up, Ferguson scores.
But at Arana Park, it was Manly who were on the fly, thanks to the brilliance of halfback Des Hasler. The Sea Eagles were winners 22-11. At Seaford round 3, the Raiders lost Phil Carey and the game to Norths. The Raiders were too good for Saints in round 4. At Seaford, Canberra lost 26-18 to Balmain, but still could lay on 4-pointers like this.
Jackson got the pass to Belcher. Belcher away from one, over the 22-metre line. O'Sullivan will score for the Raiders. O'Sullivan in.
And the roll-on for Canberra continued, and was never more evident than against Wests. Big Mal Meninga bustled through the defence from metres out, and then Belcher set up a real team try. By Anzac Day, Manly had lost 3 on the trot, but that didn't stop them scoring sensational tries. Manly were back on top, 18-10 over Easts. At Parramatta, that unforgettable 30-22 loss. The critics claimed that was the end for Canberra. At Seaford, the week after, the two sides met head-on. Lions had the first laugh, but Belcher and Bacco returned the favour. Then Cleal crashed over, and the Sea Eagles led 18-4 at the break. But when it rains, it pours. Mal Meninga collides into the posts, a broken arm. The Sea Eagles too classy, 18-10. And the team from the north was set to record a 12-match winning streak. Meanwhile, the Raiders plodded on regardlessly, beating Souths, then losing 21-6 against Easts. It was round 2 against the Steelers, a win 22-15. Victory over Norths 18-12. At Seaford, the Raiders thrashing St George 22-5. And then turned on more tries against Penrith 24-6. Then lost to Balmain, but overcame Wooden Spooners Wests at Arana Park. Against Parramatta at Seaford, it was a disappointing 24 loss. For Manly the same day, the end of a 12-match winning streak, losing to Easts. Then a blow for Canberra. Captain Dean Lance ordered from the field. Despite being a man down, the Raiders battled on. The final outcome, Manly 20, Canberra 18. The loss of Lance spearheaded the Raiders to a historic finals march. The first victim, the Bulldogs.
It goes to Walters, away to Jackson, and on to Kinner, and Chris Kinner scores the try.
To rub salt into the wounds, it was another Canberra backline movement that brought Canterbury unstuck minutes later.
Here goes Kevin Walters, back it goes to Henjack, Henjack for the line, Henjack's in, try!
And if he hadn't done enough, Henjack set up this gem of a try for Jackson.
Henjack's little grubber kick in behind the defence, Jackson on it, scored!
Meanwhile, Manly were rusty, beating the Steelers. The final hurrah for Souths, Viva the Raiders. And the champagne was well on the way when Canberra did it to East at their last home game at Henson Park. The first taste of finals football turned the champagne sour, though.
Jackson, McGann is there. Oh, McGann's pulled it out of the air and scored a fantastic try.
Try it was, but Steve Walters' answer was just as easy. And what about big bad Sam Bacco?
He's there! Big Sam has cracked the eastern suburbs line.
But Sam's solo effort couldn't make up for those terrible mistakes. East 25-16 winners. The major semi and Manly win 10-6, but not before Michael O'Connor was shaken in his boots. Robert Simskin backpedalled and Lyons sideswiping his skipper Paul Vaughton. But not to be denied, Hasler set his back on a merry dance to outpace a tired East defence. The double movement horrors, first the Roosters, then to the Sea Eagles. Manly into the grand final. For the Raiders, a whitewash over Souths, 46-12. Ken Sutcliffe takes up the misery for Steve Maven and the mediocrity of the Rabbits.
10-0. 4 minutes later, Jackson puts Maven under the blowtorch again. Watch the brilliant pickup by Henjack.
Coyne's got a pass back on the inside. Beautifully taken by Henjack.
Maven, who had been involved in 3 incidents that resulted in 3 tries, was replaced with Canberra in front 16-0 after 16 minutes. But after 22 minutes, it was 22-2. Bacco got a ball away from an impossible position, and it was Gilbert who eventually scored.
To Ashley Gilbert, and Ashley Gilbert's over for a try, and it's a sensational try.
Souths were nervous Nellies with the ball in the air, so Jackson applies the squeeze again.
Oh, they've let it bounce. Oh, it's another try this time.
George Piggins was disgusted as his team argued. It was 28-2. Souths had nothing going for them. Even a legitimate try was disallowed. Referee Stone ruling Michael Blake had double moved. At right on half-time, Cruikshank finally planted the Rabbitohs' first 4-pointer.
Great try, great.
It took Canberra 13 minutes before scoring in the second half, O'Sullivan showing plenty of strength in beating a tackle.
A soft try to O'Sullivan.
The match was well and truly beyond Souths. They were now playing to salvage some pride.
He probably got that down.
In a nasty incident, the Raiders' captain Dean Lance was stretchered from the field after copping knees in the back, but Canberra was still intent on inflicting more pain on Souths. Kinner scores off another Rabbitoh mistake.
He is, and he's got...
Then the coup de grace against Easts.
It's a great run from Truella.
The Raiders suffered another setback when front row forward Brent Todd had to leave the field. So it was a shaky beginning. But Ashley Gilbert put things back on an even footing.
Beautifully to Ashley Gilbert. He's going to score beside the post.
6-all. Grand finalist Manly had the best seats in the house and were feeling a lot more comfortable than Gary Belcher when Melrose put up the bomb. He fiddled and fumbled. Hall picked up the ball, but after some anxious moments for the Raider fullback, referee Stone ruled the ball was out on the dead ball line. It was then East's turn to sweat at the sight of Mal Meninga. Watch him run over the Roosters' number 8, David Truella.
Just for the line, and he scored a try.
So Meninga's inclusion had been justified, while Truella was smelling salts. But the Raiders squandered their 10-8 lead when Brendan Hall stepped beautifully to set up Melrose.
Brendan Hall's found a gap right up the middle, looks back on the inside, it's to Tony Melrose. Will he get the pace? Yes, he's got the pace, it's a try.
Right on half-time, Gary Coyne screwed himself over the line, and it was 14-all. The action continued into the second half. Hall sucks in 3 defenders, but watch the good work of Tony Melrose.
Morris is in for the try. Oh, gee.
18-14. 3 minutes later, the Raiders hit back. Coyne scores his second try.
Going strongly, and he's going to score his second try.
Meninga converted from the sideline. It was Canberra 2018. The pace was furious as Corkery produces a huge step for a great individual try.
Oh, he's going to go all the way. It's a joke.
Meninga converted. It was 26-18. And a few minutes later, the big centre came off after scoring 8 points. His teammates were now on fire.
Jackson's in for a try.
That made it 32-18. And even though he scored again, the 8-point spread was too much to haul in. Don Furner was grinning. Wayne Bennett looked as though he'd lost. But the players and the Raiders fans' faces said it all.
Night at the Canberra airport when the players were given a huge welcome home. That continued at the Queanbeyan Leagues Club. By Monday morning, the dust had settled and Brent Todd went to the doctors for x-rays and treatment on his injured ankle. In the afternoon, local businessmen and ACT administration officials gathered to discuss ways of turning Canberra into a Raiders city. Tuesday was the first official run for the players. Brent Todd was still busy receiving treatment while his teammates settled into the hard work, defensive drills being the order of the day, and the Raiders flag flew over the new Parliament House site. Wednesday, it was time for the J. Hoffman testimonial lunch at the Ambassador Hotel. It was also the day we found the Green Machine and the world's biggest Raiders fan. Talk about the bare facts. Thursday, and Brent Todd took to the playing fields for the first ginger steps on that suspect ankle. While in Civic, the Raiders' battle standard was raised as the countdown draws to a close. Friday, it's breakfast in Sydney at the Regent Hotel. Back in Canberra, Raiders fever is about to hit its peak. Saturday, and the Raiders' final training run at Seaford Oval, and the first busload of Raiders supporters hit the road, bound for the SCG, and hopefully the Winfield Cup and the JJ Giltinan Shield. And at the airport, hundreds of Raiders fans and well-wishers had crowded into the terminal. When the players disembarked, it was just about impossible for them to get into the terminal. Wayne Bennett, all he could think about was Melbourne and Hawthorn.
Look, he's kept competing all afternoon. I just thought that we dropped off at any stage they could have got up and beaten us. I kept thinking of Hawthorn and Melbourne.
Don Furner, in his last season as coach, was looking ahead to the grand final.
It's fantastic to be in the grand final, and you know, after the day and after all the season, it just all adds up to a very successful one. But we just got a job to do next week.
Mal Meninga was also looking ahead to the grand final after bulldozing his way through the Roosters' defence and loved the airport reception.
I reckon so. It's tremendous support in it. I'm thoroughly overwhelmed by the whole atmosphere.
At the Queanbeyan Leagues Club, the scene was much the same. Each player getting a rousing welcome home. The Canberra Woodger Raiders had made history, and now the only thing that stood in their way was Manly. Just one last hurdle.
Raiders, kick some ass, Sunday.
The question, it's the Canberra Raiders. Only this time the support has been visible since they made it through the first round of finals. Last week, Capital 7 organised a cavalcade through the streets of Canberra and Queanbeyan. The response was loud, colourful and overwhelming for the players. The Raiders knew they faced East 2 days later with all of Canberra behind them, and they didn't let us down. Patron of the Raiders, Ros Kelly, summed up the feeling of many dedicated fans.
At long last, I've had faith in them though over the last 7 years, and I believe they'll do a great job on Sunday.
But now everyone has got into the act. The people of Canberra do have a soul.
The Green Machine, we hit them hard, so they see green. We're big and strong, we're fast and lean. That's why we're called the Green Machine. We're the bad and mean Green Machine. Feel some men from the ACT. Don't try and stop these men in green, 'cause we'll hit ya, and you'll see.
The Raiders on Sunday, how do you think they'll go?
Oh, I think the Raiders will win. I think they've got a very good chance.
I think they'll win.
Why do you say that?
Because they're Canberra Raiders, they'll win.
Or Irish too. There's just one colour that'll do. The fighting green of the Green Machine. We're the bad and mean Green Machine. Feel some men from the ACT. Don't try and stop these men in green. 'Cause we'll hit ya, and you'll see green.
Oh, we'll easily win. No worries there.
Been a supporter for a while?
Oh, no, because I'm a new supporter.
Quite frankly, I think they'll win.
Why is that?
Because I've been watching the last few games and I think they're on a roll.
Well, Manly have been up top for a long time.
Yes, I know, but they haven't done it very convincingly, have they?
Oh, they'll win, of course, yeah.
Oh, of course, they're going to win. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be a very close match, I'm sure.
Hit ya, and you'll see green.
Perhaps the most important supporters are the wives and girlfriends of the men in green. To say they're excited about Sunday's final is an understatement.
Well, I'd like to sit next to Don, but I don't think that would be possible because I do barrack too hard.
As for how confident the players are, Peter Jackson's girlfriend, Siobhan O'Brien, has no doubts.
Yeah, really confident. More confident than I am. I'm a nervous wreck. No, they're really confident.
I'm not sure. I think he hopes he is.
And Vivian O'Sullivan knows the routine the night before a big game that ensures Chris has a good day.
Oh, we usually get a pizza and a movie and just have a quiet night at home.
Well, it looks like those pizzas have been working so far.
Yes, they have.
One thing for sure, though, the ladies are proud of their men making the final on Sunday. Irrespective of the result, Sunday night will be a night to remember.
Just taking off, it's just everybody will be just in such a good mood that regardless of whether we win, I think. Having a few beers. Having a really good time, be big celebrations, win or lose actually, because it's been such a good season.
So while we can't all be there on the day, the people of Canberra and Queanbeyan will be there in spirit.
46-2 again, or whatever the score was against South Sydney.
Just go out there and do what they did last Sunday.
Good luck, and we'll be all behind you.
Get out there and kill them, I suppose.
Chair, I'll be up there with them. I'll be saying good luck like everybody else.
Raiders kick some ass Sunday.
In Leagues Club, you thought Canberra had lost the premiership. They haven't, I don't think. Manly may have won the JJ Giltnam Shield and the Winfield Cup, but Canberra have come away big winners in the popularity stakes. The club is absolutely packed, as it has been throughout the day, and I can tell you I've been here since about 8 o'clock. Well, despite their loss to Manly, the Canberra Raiders have every reason to be proud of capturing the imagination of a city that apparently had no soul. It's been the Raiders that have kept the tongues wagging and swept the district through the past 3 weeks with colour and excitement.
The lead up to the event was great, but there's nothing like grand final day. For the hardened rugby league fans and to the many who the Raiders have introduced to the game, it was a day to remember. Many Canberra fans left by bus yesterday to spend an obviously merry night outside the grounds of the SCG. And as the Raiders made their way onto the plane, more fans boarded the XPT to arrive in Sydney in a much more vocal state. In fact, no matter how they got there, the Raiders fans were difficult to ignore.
What about Canberra? People come up from Canberra.
It was a superb day that eventually topped 31 degrees and attracted over 50,000 spectators to the SCG. The day was not only historic for the Raiders, but after 76 years, it was the last year that the Rugby League Grand Final would be played at the SCG. Most of the pre-match tips went Manly's way, with the footy tab recording $72,000 worth of bets, 2-1 in Manly's favour. But the sentimental vote was for a fairy tale win to the boys in green.
I guess Manly would probably do it, but geez, I'd like Canberra to win. It'd be really great if they did.
Sentimentally, I'd like to see Canberra win. I've known Don Furner for a long time. I come from Canberra. I know a few of the players, but I think you've got to lean for Manly.
I must admit, I'd love to see Canberra win simply because they're the underdogs, but I've got a feeling that Manly, because Crusher told me to.
Action began with a solid St George win over South in the under-23s and an 11-0 victory to Penrith over Manly in the reserve grade. With an hour to kill, the entertainment began. Men floated from the heavens, only to be upstaged by 600 apprentices from around New South Wales, building what else but a miniature Sydney Harbour Bridge. In keeping with the New South Wales bicentennial theme, the ladies in white gave the crowd a geography lesson about the cities of New South Wales. The Premier State has got it all, from horses to boats to endless amounts of plonk. And such an Aussie kind of Sunday wouldn't have been the same without John Williamson singing True Blue. The banners, the balloons, the fireworks, the crowds, And finally, the fans were at their quietest for 3 weeks. Canberra's fairy tale run came to a halt, but so the Rugby League season is over for another year, with all clubs sharing some good and bad memories of what 1987 held for them.
Well, I think you came to Brookvale expecting a tough one, and you certainly got it.
What's our home ground?
Huh?
You said you came to Brookvale expecting a hard one.
Yeah, and you got it.
Yeah. What's our home ground? What are we coming here for?
Well, I'm just saying, you came expecting a tough one.
You got it? What's that? Where are you? You? Well, we're here. It's our home ground.
Yeah, I know it is.
Well, there's something wrong. You can't sleep, though.
Girls, how long have you been following the Souths?
Oh, forever. Like, since I was born, it's been a long time.
You there, Al? They do play pretty open, attacking style of football. Okay. Happy birthday. Oh, birthday. Oh, Channel 10 dancing.
Mate, we had our back to the wall. We had to win. We had no second chances from here on in, and we just knew that we had to win it, and that's the way we went out and played it.
So that's the colour of a grand final day and the colour of a season. With me is Jim Woodger, the man who puts the Woodger into the Canberra Woodger Raiders. Jim, a great day for the club.
Absolutely fantastic, Milton, and in fact, Canberra, Queanbeyan and Southern New South Wales owe an entire debt to those guys that committed themselves and played so well today.
Next season, onward and upwards, perhaps the Winfield Cup. These people think so.
Financially, we'll be invincible. Just come to the games. Come to the games. We'll do it.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks for your time. All right, after the break, we'll be back with the first half highlights of the Sport 80s. It's been a saw Manly apply intense pressure, but somehow the Raiders' defence held, and with the score at half-time, it was 6-all. Here are the highlights. So that try was converted by Michael O'Connor. A quick basketball score for you. In Perth 27, the Cannons 24. That's a quarter-time score. Coming up, the Leagues Club reaction, and we continue with the highlights from the second half. Congratulations on a fine season.
Thanks very much, Milton. Yeah, it was a very fine season for the Raiders. You know, ultimating in what was a great day today for the club, but I was very proud of everyone today, but we didn't win. But the best team won on the day, I thought.
They did. Cliff Lyons had a superb game, really.
Yeah, he played very well. He did, yeah. And he certainly showed what a good player he is with a good backline he's got. But, you know...
Yeah, go on.
Sorry.
You're right. I love you.
Oh, that's what it's all about. It's great to see the crowd here, really. But they showed what a good team they are, and they deserve to be premiers.
And next year?
Next year we'll be premiers.
Right, thanks, Dean. Okay, well, after 40 minutes of whirlwind football, the Raiders found themselves 6 points down with a big chance of causing an upset. But a penalty goal straight after the break gave Manly the edge they needed. So there it is, Gary Belcher converting that try. And we're coming up, we'll take you into the Raiders dressing room and get the players' reactions as this Sport 87 Sunday special continues live from the Queanbeyan Leagues Club. Look at all these players. It starts this report from the middle of the ground.
Yes, Milton, a fitting tribute to the 1987 Grand Final, Manly running out winners by 18 points to 8. In the dressing room, Wayne Bennett had this to say.
We've got to be a little bit realistic about it. Manly probably played a little bit better on the day, and we've got to give them some credit for their performance as well. And I'm just so proud of the guys that they didn't disgrace themselves, and they can walk around with their head held high as far as I'm concerned.
In the heat, Lyons and Hazlitt seemed to really cut them up early.
Yeah, they did. We were under a lot of pressure all afternoon, weren't we?
Yeah. I think there was a problem in the first half, especially in the heat, do you think?
Well, it was the tightest I'd seen the players at half-time. I didn't know how I was going to get them back out there in the second half. They were really tired, and the heat certainly didn't help us any, but, you know, they had to play in it Manly too.
Any time you thought you'd lost it, or...?
Yeah. Well, we made that fumble under the goalpost there with about 5 minutes to go. Yeah, we hadn't knocked that ball on there and Sam might have scored that try. I'm still optimistic enough. I never give in, mate. And I try to instill that into them too, and I just kept sending them, well, I just sent a message out to them, you know, if you don't quit, anything can happen when they went up 18-2 or whatever it was.
Good luck anyway, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Inside the dressing room, the letdown, the agony. Obviously a bit of an empty feeling.
Yeah, you could call it that.
In the first half, Lyons, he was very tough, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, that was our mistake. You know, we should have been putting the ball carrier on the ground. We failed to do that, and he scored.
What about in the second half? When did you sort of feel the game was lost?
Oh, mate, we never gave up. We just kept trying right to the end. You know, the game was never lost until the final whistle went.
They're a very good side, aren't they?
Yeah, they're a good side. You know, better side one on the day, put it that way.
And next year, all ready for next year now?
Yeah, well, that's all we can look forward to now is all that hard work again. You know, 26 weeks, and hopefully next year we'll come up with the goods.
The little creep inside someone's heart, someone's mind. But Peter Jackson's weary, devastated face told 1,000 tales.
Oh, yeah, very disappointed, and we didn't expect to do anything except win, and you know, we'd be lying if we said we were happy with second place, but you know, we didn't quit, and we probably give it our all. We got beaten by a better team on the day. Congratulations to Manly. We've got no excuses.
What about in the first half Lyons? He was very dynamic, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was actually. He did a lot of damage, and you know, to the boys' credit, we kind of held them to 4 points in the second half. And I thought they probably, the way they played, they should have got a lot more points than that if it wasn't for our defence. But you know, there's 2 quarters and 2 halves in a game of football, and they won both of them, I suppose. And
Gary Coyne was another who had given his best, but he too knew that Canberra had been outplayed.
Well, it was very upsetting, you know. Like, we did a fair bit of chasing in the first half in the heat, and you know, we were pretty well drained at half time, but we knew if we get off to a good start in the second half that we'd hang in there. And I thought we'd hang in there, but they took their opportunities, and I think we missed 1 or 2. That's the way the game went.
Like Coyne, Todd threw himself into the grand final, but found the Sea Eagles too hot.
Yeah, it was pretty hot in the middle there.
Well, how did you handle the forwards early on? They were pretty tough. You seem to be in there tackling well.
Yeah, it was pretty tough with the forwards. Just, I think, you know, the second guy wasn't come over and killing the ball enough, and they were getting a few balls away, which cost us a lot.
5'8" halfback combination were dazzling in the first half, weren't they?
Yeah, that's, you know, they're pretty hard to get the little guys, and they were just, you know, swerving around, you know, turning and getting balls away, which we couldn't stop.
And the final words go to Don Furner on his final day of coaching. Beaten in 2 Sydney Grand Finals by Manly both times. 72 with Easts, 87 with Canberra.
Well, you just got to concede sometimes. You get beaten by a better side, and Manly's proved it all the year. When we look back at it realistically, they've done a great job. And then they come out today and confirmed that. I thought they were just a little better than us on the day. But nonetheless, I was very proud of the efforts of the Raider players because they came back, never gave up, and you know, in the wash-up at the end, it's been a great year for the Raiders.
When did you think the match was lost for Canberra?
Probably just after half-time. They just had a roll on there, and they were in our territory. And they looked dangerous for a few times. They got that penalty, and then it probably made it a little harder for us then. You know, it's just one of those sort of things. But as I said, our fellas came back. But you've got to just concede the fact that they're a classy football side.
After 35 years in the coaching game, at the end of an era for Don Furner as a coach?
Oh, yes, it's been an enjoyable one. I've enjoyed the association. You go back over when we had East and Manly beat us then too, but there's a lot of players and a lot of people that you see and know and friends, and it all makes it worthwhile. Even though you might lose a grand final, it's still a great game, rugby league.
Certainly is an emotional Don Ferner. Coming up, we meet the Raiders at the Canberra airport, and then we wrap it all up, live from the Queanbeyan Leagues Club. Tonight, despite their loss, they received a similar reception. Robin Pope was there.
It was, if anything, an even warmer welcome than last week, and certainly an emotional one. Supporters began arriving about an hour before the flight was due, and for a while it looked as if the result had kept many away.
You and your staff here must be almost relieved, I guess, that the Raiders didn't make it today.
No, we're not relieved, actually. We would have preferred to see them win.
And you could put up with the sorts of crowd scenes we saw last week?
Well, it doesn't look like we're going to see that many people here, but yes, we would put up with that amount of people, yes.
This young lady was facing up to things well.
Oh, it was good, and I'm very sad they lost, though. That was the only bad thing.
One of the big talking points, the O'Connor try. Do you think it was a try?
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
Lions made man of the match for Manly. Who would your Raiders man of the match be?
Well, all of them. I think they're all great.
And these two, obviously inseparable, had accepted the result.
Well, I think the deserving team won on the day, but I think Canberra gave them a good run for their money.
Did you think that any time that the Raiders could get up there?
Just after half-time, I thought they had a chance, but the gap was too big, I think.
The O'Connor try, there's a bit of a question mark over it. What were your thoughts on that?
Definitely offside. Peter Peters was doing a commentary on, I think it was 2CA, and he's an avid Manly fan, and he said it was forward, so I'm pretty sure it was.
The Cliff Lions, quite deservedly, I think, got the man of the match today. Who would be your Raiders man of the match?
I wouldn't single out anyone. I think they all deserve it.
Peter Jackson blitzed them in the centres against some good opponents, so my man of the match.
You can't take it away from Manly. They played the better game, but Raiders put up a great fight. They were beaten by the heat, I believe. The big men couldn't take it, and they just ran out of condition.
And who would be your Raiders man of the match?
Oh, without a doubt, it had to be Toddy, I believe, in the first half. But the second half, I think Ivan Hanjo tried his heart out.
Support them next year?
For sure.
And the result next year?
They'll win it.
Then, as airport staff got into the spirit of the occasion, the crowd thickened and began demonstrating that their heroes were still just that. This sharp-eyed young fellow saw what was obviously a Manly balloon. It had to go. And then they were here, and even on the flight deck, a flag was flying. First off, the Raiders' most ardent supporter, and then the team. Chris O'Sullivan didn't look too unhappy, and neither did Brent Todd. Gary Coyne looked pensive, Ashley Gilbert too, and Matthew Corkery surely proud of a never-say-die performance. Inside, a scene of happy pandemonium, with Mal Meninga and Sam Bacco the main target for autograph hunters.
So they're back, a team of which Canberra, Queanbeyan and the region can be immensely proud tonight. When we come back, Milton talks to more key people in this season's campaign. Meanwhile, this is Robin Pope at Canberra Airport for Capital 7 Sport.
So there it is. There's the Raiders mascot. Well, Gary, the support tonight, fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic, Milton. I don't know, I can't really imagine what it'd be like if we had a won.
Exactly.
I suppose there could be too many more people here. Everyone's pretty excited about what's happened.
When the siren went, what was your immediate thoughts?
Pretty hard to say. I felt very hollow feeling. I've been there before in Brisbane for a couple of times. It's just not the way you want to feel. We definitely thought we could win the game. We went out to win the game and play as well as we could. I really felt, pretty bad for myself and for all the guys in the team. But I've got a few months to think about that anyway.
Exactly. Cliff Lyons had a dynamite game at 5'8" for the Seagulls.
He had a good game. He had a great game. He was really a lot of trouble to us, and he ran across the field a lot and picking up his runners on the inside, which is makes it very hard for our defence. And we were scrambling every time that he did that. And he really deserved the man of the match award that he got today.
He did. At 6-0 down at half-time, he went into the sheds. What did Wayne and Don say to you?
Well, Wayne said that we were still in the game. We were in a really good position. I believe we were in a good position.
I agree.
For the fact that we defended so much, yes, and we'd scrambled. They'd gone close to scoring on so many occasions. it could really, you know, almost have been probably 18-0. They went very close, but I thought it was a credit to our guys that they stuck to it. The big guys in the middle, it was so hot out there, they just gave it, you know, they gave everything they had. So we knew we were in the game. If we could hang in there, we really thought we could get on top of Manly, probably with our fitness, and, you know, there's a couple of other reasons that we talked about during the week that we could get on top of Manly. It was just unfortunate things didn't work out that way in the second half, but we certainly had a go.
That feeling of running onto the Sydney Cricket Ground with 50,000 people, unmatched?
Yeah, unmatched. I really, you know, I think we tried to play it down a bit. I played a couple of State of Origin games there, and I played in front of a few big crowds before. Yeah. But you know, it's a great feeling. But I really think if you're worried about the crowd too much, you're really not going to play your best football. So we tried to play it down. I think all the guys succeeded in doing that, and just tried to concentrate on the football.
The way you've handled yourselves over the past 3 or 4 weeks, indeed over the season with you and the Queensland State of Origin team, etc., it's a credit to rugby league. It really is. It's great.
Yeah, thanks, mate. We just go out and play our best every weekend, and the main thing, I think, is trying to get rid of the outside influences. Yeah. Just try to get down to the fact of playing football. And when you play well, there's always a problem that everyone's going to give you a rap, and you read the papers or you listen to the reports. You're in a bit of trouble. You've just got to try to stay away from that and concentrate on football, and things look after themselves.
Mel, Honolulu trip for you up to see your wife and your baby. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks very much, mate. That's where we're going. I'm certainly going to spend the summer up in Brisbane, back with the wife and baby.
All right, there it is from the Queanbeyan Leagues Club. This is the Sport 87 special.